So this screencast will talk about the content analysis assignment. I will go back and forth between the Word document you see up there on Blackboard and the PowerPoint slides, the steps slides. The numbers I have here, 1, 2, 3, and so on, coincide with the numbers I have here in the assignment. So first, what's the problem? Excuse me. You're going to tell us what your statement of the problem is. But remember to make sure you examine a statement of the problem that you can examine. So if my statement of the problem is that the economy is just out of control today, okay, that's the problem. But what am I going to watch or read or listen to that will enable me to figure out the answer to that problem? So only ask a question, or research question is 2, only have a statement and question, numbers 1 and 2, that you can address by watching or reading or listening to something. And don't just change your statement into a question for number 2. That's contradictory as the example. Well, it could be contradictory as the example shows here. So if my statement of the problem is there's more crime on TV, but then my research question is there more crime on TV? The question contradicts the previous statement. So look at those two things carefully. Unit of observation, if you go here in the slides, you're talking about the books, the pictures, the words, the things, your unit of analysis. What is it that you're going to examine? So you want to study sexism, for example. So I say I might study beer ads. As you go on, make sure you have clear, concise operational definitions. You know exactly what is it you're going to look for. So again, when I'm talking about number 3 here in the slides, I'm talking about number 3 here in the assignment. What's my unit of observation? It's the Kansas City Star. It's this music. It's that TV show. Unit of analysis, the words, phrases, again, go back here, number 4. This is what I talk about. This is what I meant when I said have a clear, concise operational definition. So if I'm going to look at a show, if I'm going to look at, listen to music or whatever it is, okay, that's number 3. But number 4, what am I going to look for? What am I going to look for? That's why I'm asking you to here tell me you're going to look for words, or you're going to look for images. And then number 5, you tell me what those words or images are. So again, if I'm studying crime on TV, number 3 for me might be an hour-long episode of CSI Miami, or half-hour episode of this or that program. Number 4, words and phrases. Number 5, I'd list the words and phrases. So you're doing numbers 1 through 5 before you watch or listen to that thing you're watching or listening to. And do make sure to, as you go through and watch the program or listen to the music or read the paper, make sure you let me know how many times you saw what you saw. And that'll be your the way you collect your data in this assignment is you do numbers 1 through 5, and then you sit down and say watch a TV show. And if I'm looking at crime on television, I would list 10 words or phrases that I think would be indicative of talking about or discussing or showing crime on this TV show. You know, I might talk about words like murder or guns, or I might even include images about blood and such. So I have my list in front of me, and as I'm watching the show, I would put a hashtag mark, tally mark, next to each word or phrase whenever I saw it. So if I'm watching an hour-long show and I hear the word murder 5 times, 5 tally marks next to murder. If I include pictures of blood, say, and I see 12 pictures of blood during this show, I put 12 tally marks next to blood. So numbers 1 through 5 are what you do before you actually watch or listen or read. Number 6, you will analyze the data 2 different ways. First is a rate. So if I watch a half-hour long show, forget the commercials, let's just call it half hour. Okay, if I watch a half-hour long show and I see 15 instances of all the things I'm looking for, if I add them all up, and I see 15 instances of violence on TV, I could say I saw 1 instance of violence every 2 minutes, because if I have a 30-minute show and I saw 15 things, that's 1 every 2 minutes. If I'm watching a 30-minute show and I see 60 different instances of violence, then that's 2 per minute, right? That's your rate. B, so here's A, the rate, which I just described. B is a percentage. So A deals with everything. What's the total stuff you saw? B is of all the things you saw, which occurred most often. So if I looked and I saw 30 things, total things, and 15 of those dealt with guns, then I'd just do some math. I would divide 15 by 30, right, which is 50%, half the time. So I'd say 50% of the time, the thing that occurred most commonly was 50% of the time guns. If I saw 15 total things, and the most common was 5, let's say guns, then I'd say the most common thing I saw was guns, which occurred 33% of the time. Just divide that one thing that you're looking at, the thing that occurred most commonly, by the total number of things that you saw. So again, in the rate in A here, you're talking about everything. How much did you see total? I saw, for every minute of programming, I saw one instance of violence on TV. And then for 6B, of all the things I saw, guns was the most frequent thing I saw. And if by chance that is, say, you saw 15 total things and 5 guns was the most common, 5, then you just divide 5 by 15. You say the most common thing I saw was guns, which occurred 33% of the time. And then number 7, answer your research question. Again, go back up here. What's your research question? Number 7, answer it. Doesn't have to be very long, you can see. And 7 sentences long here, 3/4 of a page total. You can see it's due by the end of the week. So send me some emails. Let me know what questions you have as you go on with this assignment.